Hutchinson.
Jordan Hutchinson.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, athletes and fans of bodybuilding. Tarek El-Guindi with the Mr. Olympia. Jordan Hutchinson, not Peterson. I called him Jordan Peterson.
That's okay.
Jordan
name.
Hutchinson has now won the Tampa Pro, and he's heading to the Mr. Olympia. Incredible performance, great conditioning. He was not the favorite, but he delivered a powerful performance. Jordan, thank you so much for spending time with us. We want to get to know you.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. I've got respect for all three of you, so it means a lot to me.
Even Tarek?
Even
yeah,
me?
Man. Even Tarek.
I'm a decision maker, Chris. You're not. You're just a pretty face from the past. Let me introduce you my co-host. He's the 2000 Mr. USA's. He's the voice of bodybuilding, the master of ceremony for the Mr. Olympia, Bob Cicherillo. How are you, Bob?
Derek, doing good. Chris, always good to have you back. And Jordan, congratulations again. I was there on hand in Tampa to watch history in the making and another road to the Olympia as Jordan was crowned the champion.
Very nice. Yeah. I want to introduce my other co-host. His name is Chris Cormier. He's one of the greatest bodybuilders of all times. He turned pro at the 1993 Mr. USA's. He's a four-time Ironman champion. He battled it out with Ronnie Coleman and Flex Wheeler at the Mr. Olympia. How are you, Chris?
Good. How we doing?
Doing good. Doing
good.
good.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Good to meet you too, man. I think so. We got 3 Mr. USA's on here.
No, I think you're confusing me with my brother. My brother won the USA.
No, I won the
he won the USA.
Okay, so that's what
right.
that's what I want to know. Tell me a little bit about your amateur career.
It was honestly pretty short-lived. I'll be real with you. I kind of made my way through bodybuilding by being in the trenches and doing off seasons. I knew it's bodybuilding at the end of the day. We have to have the muscle to win a show, and so many of these guys are cracking at national shows too early. So my first show was a drug-tested natty show in 2015, Spartanburg, South Carolina. Took 2 years off to grow. Did my first NPC show 2017, won the overall novice, and took that next year off. Did my next NPC show and won my class in the heavyweights. And after that, took a whole 3 years off to grow again. Went to a regional show, qualified for national qualifier, and then did USA's, one and done, won the overall 2021. And that was my amateur career. Not many shows, not a lot of stage time.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess, Bob, you cannot relate with that story, can you?
I have absolutely no relation to his story, as mine's completely the opposite, but it took me forever to turn pro, as everybody knows. But you know what? I got to give you credit, Jordan, where it belongs. You were smart enough to kind of pace yourself in your growth. You probably could have turned pro a few years earlier, given the state of, where competition is, and you had a very early success ratio. But you probably knew that your physique wasn't ready for the pros, and you were smart to, give yourself 3-4 years to put yourself in position, because your physique is reminiscent of somebody who has some years in the trenches, some reps in the gym, and you have a very mature-looking physique for a guy who was relatively new to the pro scene. So congratulations on being smart enough to put yourself in that position. What we see a lot now, unfortunately, is guys turn pro quickly, but they were nowhere ready to be in the pros, and they disappear for 3-4 years.
Right. Yeah. I think it's just impatience. Everybody wants the end result without the work that's involved and the years of consistency. Like, I didn't fall in love with bodybuilding. I fell in love with training first. So I got talked into bodybuilding once some people around me were like, hey, looks like you've got genetics for this. And I'm thinking, the guys I idolized back then, I was watching Branch Warren and Johnny Jackson training, and I just wanted to train like that and get strong like that. I wasn't thinking I was going to display it on stage at all. So it was just always about the training and improvement for me. So I love the process, and I think that always helped me to be more patient when it came to getting to the stage, because I wanted something that was going to be very different every time and not look the same every time I step on stage. You know, I think that's a problem these days.
Chris, looking at his physique, what kind of damage can he do at the Mr. Olympia?
Well, what jumps out to me the most is the density. I think that most muscular, which is probably your biggest weapon, is what I can tell so far. You know,
The hands on hips or the knuckles clasp, which one do you like best?
I think the knuckles clasp.
Okay.
I think you got a little bit more contraction, and I mean, it just reminds me more of like what I witnessed back when Rich Gaspari was a very dense competitor. It wasn't like the most shapely, most aesthetically pleasing physique, but it just a lot of hardcore training and some hardcore dieting going on in that body to make that density. And I think that's yeah, right there. That's one. It wasn't together. That's the one right there.
On hips.
So that's the one. So, and then right here, I would say, you know, making that stomach a little bit more flatter is going to make your whole physique even more effective when it comes to competition and when you're going towards this Olympia. There might be some extra carbs or whatever like that, but if I were you, I would try to flatten the stomach a little bit more in this pose right here, because that right there is very dangerous for anybody.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's definitely something we've been focused on, is my core control, and you know, keeping protein lower as we peak for the show, making sure there's no distension, focus on, you know, on digestion and everything. So I appreciate that feedback. That's definitely something we're really focused on.
Well, Jordan, you're not on the map, right? I mean, looking at the Tampa Pro show, a lot of people were talking about, I think they were talking about Patrick Moore. He's won 2 pro shows. There was a lot of guys in that lineup. John Jewett has been to the Mr. Olympia. I think some people had him as a favorite. And then people looked at Quentin Beastwood and they're like, okay, he has the potential. You were not the favorite to win this show, right? I mean, Did you feel like, okay, nobody's counting me on, I'm just going to destroy and beat the hell out of these guys? Did you have a chip on your shoulder here?
I don't know that I had a chip on my shoulder. It's just out of confidence. I honestly, going in, I thought I was going to win the show. I really did. I mean, I'm not one of those guys that projects it online. I don't feel the need to boost my ego and tell people ahead of time that I'm going to win something before it happens. I just know in my head, like, what I can bring. I think a lot of it has to do with, you know, I'm one of those guys. I'm a big structured guy. I have wide shoulder structure and clavicles. And until you put me next to guys on stage, maybe in pictures by myself, I don't look as impressive or as big. And I'm 5'10", so it's more imposing once I'm on stage next to these guys. So I know what I bring, and I know I bring conditioning, and I bring, you know, the density in my physique and the muscle. So I was confident going into it that was going to show on stage. I didn't know how the other guys were going to show up. And obviously 5 guys that were prior Olympians in the show, that's a big deal, but that's the show I want to win. I didn't want to have to go overseas to, you know, no offense, but like China Pro or something like that, where there's not as deep of a lineup. Like, I wanted to win in a lineup that had Olympians and guys that have been at this and that are impressive. So I knew what I brought, and I never mind people not counting me as one of the big names or favorites to win, because it just motivates me more.
Hey, Jordan, I started hearing your name towards the last couple of weeks before the show. I started hearing a couple of people started mentioning your conditioning, that you were somebody to watch. And then I saw, just days before, I saw you post a picture from behind with I don't remember if it was a back double or a lat spread, but I just noticed that how crazy grainy the glutes and everything was from behind. That's when I was like, oh shit, like this guy might be somebody, you know, with that type of conditioning, they might get a hard look at, you know, winning this thing. Because I was thinking it was just going to be, you know, Quentin Beastwood and you know, we was talking about De La Rosa, stuff like this. Like,
Right.
do you feel like you were going to come in there and just like, okay, these guys got this about over me? Because Quentin has, you know, some body parts over you that I
Oh, for
feel like
sure.
he beat you in a few shots.
Yeah.
So how did you feel like going against someone like Quentin, and what do you feel, and how do you how much respect or not respect? I mean, do you respect that type of look?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, his look is beautiful, and I love Quentin. I've known him for a while, and he's one of the guys I respect the most, like one of the nicest guys I've met in the industry. So being able to be up there, and plus we're some of the younger guys. I'm 29, so being up there with him in a top 2 call out, you know, I told him how much fun it was, how amazing it was to compete against somebody that I respect as much as Quentin. His aesthetics are insane to be his height, have that kind of
Oh yeah,
waistline. You know, I just have to play to my strengths. So, you know, I think my posing composure was something else that people don't take into consideration when they see these videos online, because they ran us through and ran us through, and I held my posing very, very well. And I think that's due to me, you know, going at it in the posing room with my training partner, Justin Abbott, in Destination Dallas in Texas. It's hot in there. We turn all the fans off. We run through rounds post workout and just force each other to hold poses, hold poses. So I play to my strengths, you know. And I know obviously Quentin has such an imposing physique with the bubbly shoulders, the roundness, the huge arms, and the tiny waist. Like,
oh yeah,
it's
great
incredible.
separation also. How many, just for the fans that don't like to do the what it takes in the posing room, how many rounds were you going up to?
I mean, we would do like 5, 6 rounds at some points, but that it was like post workout, and we would hold poses for 12 to 15 seconds. Sometimes the round wasn't just one. We would just call random poses and just keep going back and forth and just push each other to, you know, we're
Right.
dripping sweat in there. So
Yeah.
it was enough to help me really solidify that, because I remember the last couple of years, you know, last year did Tampa. I was in the top 3 call out with Mo and John De La Rosa. Then I got 3rd there, and they ran us really hard. And I faded at finals last year at Tampa, so I wasn't going to let that happen again. You know, at Texas last year, they ran us decently well, and I got 2nd at Texas Pro last year, but that was to Andrew Jack. It was the Andrew Jack show, and I've gained about 14 pounds since then. So maybe I'd stand up against him a little better this year, but obviously didn't last year. So I knew my posing had to be something that I really focused on, and being able to have that posing conditioning, and it helped a lot. But yeah, what you were saying about Quentin, like, he has his strengths, but based on bodybuilding criteria, I have a lot of strengths of my own. Like, a lot of people compare me to like a Branch Warren type look, where I have that dense striated muscle. And sometimes it's something you just have to see in person, you know?
Right.
Well, you know, a lot of people in the internet, some of these YouTube channels, man, I'm telling you, Bob is right. I used to be a lot more patient, but Bob is convincing me. He goes, Tarek, none of these guys has ever been to the show.
Right.
And I'm like, but, you know, after prejudging, I'm listening to, you know, all depends what the judges want, if they're going for conditioning or if they're going for lines. As if we would have breakfast in the morning, all of us judges, and say, guys, it's 96 degrees today. Let's go with conditioning
Yeah.
today.
What are we going for today?
It's like, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. If you want to start a YouTube channel, I recommend you guys to come talk to us, and we'll explain to you. It's not a matter of just conditioning. Jordan Hutchinson did not win the Tampa Pro just because of his conditioning. Okay. Right. If he didn't have size and density, he would have lost the show to Quentin Beastwood. He had great conditioning. He had very good density, especially on the side poses, and he posed well. Are his lines as pretty as Quentin Beastwood? No. Quentin Beastwood, in order to beat Jordan Hutchinson, he has to be more conditioned, and he also needs to gain a little bit more density in such poses in order to beat him. So we don't wake up as judges and say, today we're going with lines, guys. It's kind of cloudy today, so let's go with lines today. It doesn't work like this.
So guys, as we always talk about, especially in pro bodybuilding, okay, what the judges are looking for, because Terrence's exactly right, there's no general consensus that's just kind of figured out on a show-to-show basis, okay? They're always looking for the same thing, the best overall bodybuilder on that day and on that stage. They're looking for somebody who has not the most amount of strengths, but who has the least amount of weaknesses. Chris, spot on with the Rich Gasperi comparison, and this was very similar in context to you to Gasperi is like Quentin to Lee Haney. Now, the difference is you are much closer to Gasperi with bigger arms than Quentin is to Lee Haney at this point in his career. So it was very close, but to me, it was a solid 1-2. Now, Quentin's a problem in the future. I mean, if this guy is going to be a superstar, but there were no favorites coming into this show, even though De La Rosa was the winner last year. And by the way, big hats off to John De La Rosa and congratulations on a great career. This show didn't go his way, but I had already talked to him beforehand, and I think this was going to be it either way, whether a win, lose, or draw came into play. Him and his beautiful wife want to start a family. He's off to the next chapter. So congratulations, John De La Rosa, on a great career. That said, Jordan, you did exactly what you needed to do. You came in condition. You came in shape. Your posing was very solid. You held your poses, so you could definitely see that you were in the practice mode, leading up to the show. And you've got Texas next week, so this could be a nice 1-2 punch for you. Now, I believe Quentin is also going.
He is. Yep. It looks like pretty much all the same guys, except for
Joe Palacios also. I got to give credit. I tell you, you guys are very similar in your shape and structure, more similar to each other than certainly Quentin. He needs a little bit of size. Obviously, he's got a very big frame, and once he fills that out, he's going to be trouble. The back is what got it for you. I mean, you were very good from the back. You guys are comparable from the front. He's got a real good front double by and some other assorted shots, but you're obviously a little much more compact and muscular. So good for you, bro. I mean, obviously going into Texas.
Joe, I just have to say, Joe is a friend of mine, and which, gosh, at this point, all of us pros are, have respect for each other. But Joe, I think, made some of the best progress of anybody I've seen this last year, because I believe he was like 15th at the Cali Pro for his pro debut last year, and he put on a ton of size, and he came in peeled. So a lot of respect for Joe. He looked amazing.
Jordan, sorry to interrupt. It looks like you have a great deal of respect for all the competitors, and it's nice and all, but they're not really a fan of yours doing the Texas Pro again. Let's get
probably not. Well, so the original plan was always to do Texas. I'm near Dallas is where I'm at right now at home. So I'm 30 minutes away from the venue. So I planned on doing Texas the whole time, but everybody's talking like, how early I got in shape. Me and my coach is Chris Tuttle. He always gets me in shape early, and then we just feed into the show and we just hold conditioning. And everybody's like, why would you not do Tampa? Well, a good ways out, I had already planned, like, we're going to do Tampa. Why wouldn't we?
Smartly.
So I didn't announce it till like 5 days out and just jumped into Tampa. And so I'm obviously already going to do Texas. It's right here. I already signed the contract, and I love Battle Up Productions and Freddie Nadeau and that whole crew. It was my pro debut 2 years ago, so it'll be my third time doing it.
So you have so much respect for them that you're going to keep them out of the Olympia. Is that correct?
Exactly. I want to two-peat. I want to do what Ian Valier did back in 2021, I think it was, where he won the Tampa Pro, Texas Pro back-to-back.
Okay.
So that's the goal, man. I mean, at the end of the day, we're bodybuilders. This is our job. Like, I want it to be more competitive, like, the 90s where everybody was jumping into shows. They're all competitive. There's no giveaways. Like, and there's not going to be a giveaway for me either. Like, I got to come in my absolute best, and we already have a plan to come in even better so I can take another one, and it's nice for everybody to be at the Olympia that fans want to see, but I'm trying to be the best bodybuilder I can be and get the stage time, be ready for the Olympia.
Yeah, no, we like hostility here. When Ian Valier, when he won those two shows, the Tampa and the Texas, Steve Kuklo was pursuing his qualification for the Olympia, and Ian Valier put an end to that. Not only that, Steve Kuklo never came back to the Olympia. So Ian Valier is definitely the enemy of Steve Kuklo. If you win these two shows, obviously you put Quentin Beastwood in a tough position, because now he's got to look for another show. Even though he looks great, he's got to look for another show. Joe Palacios has looked for another show. But Bob, it's bodybuilding. You got a wife too, right, Jordan?
Yeah.
You got mortgage, you got rent,
Yeah.
you got to pay the bills. So
I mean, it's a nice little paycheck. I mean, man, like I said, I have respect for everybody, but I'm very competitive, so I'm still coming for all their heads. Like, I want to win again, and I want to come back even better, and I want to slam the door shut. So if anybody has something to say about the last one not being good enough, I want to show that it's even better this next weekend and make the gap even further. That's the goal.
Hey, listen, it's a professional sport. He's doing exactly what he should be doing. I'm glad you went in Tampa, because it would have been foolish to have bypassed an opportunity, which you just proved was in your favor. You put a nice fat paycheck in your pocket. You got the momentum going in Texas. Again, a legacy show that you've been in a couple of times already. So go for it. You're doing exactly what you should be doing, and what everybody else should be doing. And I got to be honest, with all due respect to Quentin Beastwood, who I like very much. I was very high on Quentin, not this year, but last year's New York Pro, when I predicted that he might come in and make an upset. And, that thing turned out to be a disaster for him. So good for him, because he completely reinvented himself and came in this show with an opportunity to win it. That's a huge turnaround from just a year earlier. So good for him. However, he's not ready for prime time. And I say that with all due respect. This guy is going to be a superstar in the future. But I tell you what, if he makes another year's progress with what he did this last year, he will be prime time and ready to step in that Olympia stage and be a contender. But right now, I think he'd be down there fighting, and probably not where he'd really want to be fighting, because he needs a little bit more muscle maturity and a little bit more thickness on that frame. Jordan is in a much better position right now to win this show, go to the Olympia, and I honestly think he got a legitimate shot at the top 10.
That's the goal. 100%. I've been saying that all the last few days since I got my qualification. I want to crack the top 10. And I don't see my trajectory slowing down either. I'm 14 pounds heavier at Tampa Pro than I was at Texas Pro last year. So I think I'm hitting my prime. Things are really moving well. Like, my training's never been better. All prep, my training was great. Never saw a loss of performance. Like, we're doing a really good job of keeping my body rolling. So I think it's only up from here for me. So I'm going to be battling at the Olympia every year and pushing up and up to the top.
Jordan, you should be. I mean, what strikes me as a great bodybuilder is you're in your 20s, you made it to the Olympia, you're catching your stride. Your best is yet to come. Your best is going to be, years from now. You were quite emotional coming off when you saw your people and everything. Everybody came around you, and you have a great group of people around you. What was going on in your mind when you came out there? Was you just elated? You made it to the top show in the world. Like, what were you thinking coming off from a very stacked lineup?
I mean, the emotions come out when it's my people that have been there for me since day one. So I started with Chris Tuttle in January 2020, my coach. So we've been at it. We'll be going on 6 years of working together. And he took me from nothing, an amateur that didn't look like much, but maybe a power lifter in a deep off season, to win a USA overall and then ranking up every year. To now an Olympian. And I met my wife in 2020 as well. And she believed in me from the start. She had no doubt that I should be pursuing bodybuilding despite anybody doubting me. So for me to be able to make it to that level, knowing that I believed in myself this whole time and my team from day one believed in me, it means the world. And that's when the emotions come out, because those are the people I want to make proud. I don't need to prove myself to anybody else. I know I will. I know I'll continue to prove myself. But to be able to see them happy to see me reach my goal, I mean, this is a lifetime dream of mine,
Well,
ever since I started this.
you're the Mr. Olympia. You just said the goal is top 10, right? And we got Samson. I'm just mentioning a few names. Bob, Chris. I'm forgetting a few names here. Let me know I can add. We got Samson, Hadi, Derek, Nick, and Martin. That's 5 dudes.
Yep.
Jack, Curry, Raphael, 8. Tonio Baruz, 10. Nexzilla, Regan, Sass, and Brett Wilkin. So we have to assume right off the bat here, you're beating 5 of these guys if you're in the top 10. Is that correct?
I guess that would be 5. I mean,
That's good math.
there's like 8 up there on the top line. So yeah, that'd be like six other guys.
Someone's
I
gotta
see
go.
some names there I can beat. Now,
Somebody-
Baruz, is it a question mark if he's making it or not? Do we know yet?
He just sent me a text message. He said, now that Jordan Hutchinson qualified, I got my visa and I'm going to annihilate him at the Olympia. But somebody said here, Jordan is a better version of Regan Grimes. Can't wait to send that to Regan.
Man, all right. He
Regan's
said
got
that.
an
We didn't.
amazing back, but I think my conditioning will shine there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you want to be top 10, which I think is a very, very doable goal. I mean, you look at Samson, Hadi, Derek, Nick, and Martin. I think that's the, that those guys they've all been top 5 at the Olympia. So right there, it will be tough, especially on your first Olympia. But you never know. Ronnie Coleman was 9th place and he went on to win. We're just speculating. The guys that you're going to be in the mix here is going to be Sass Harati, Brett Wilkin, Regan Grimes, Nexzilla, Tonio Burton, Rafael Brandon, Jack and Curry. They could be on the first call out, second call out, but you're going to mix up with Tonio Burton.
I agree.
You're going to mix up with Rafael Brandon. That's for sure.
I think my thickness and structure will shine with those guys.
And I think, Jordan, if we're going to be realistic here, if you were to pose between Samson and Nick, you would be a little bit small, right? Those guys are massive.
Yep, they've got more years on them, more development.
Correct. But a lineup, if we put you on a lineup with Tonio, Regan, Sass, Brett, and Rafael, you're not going to look small. On the contrary, you probably look bigger than some of those guys.
100%.
And then
I'm sitting around, 264. I was about 264 on stage at Tampa at 5'10".
Damn.
So, and that's with that kind of conditioning. People can be 264 on stage, but they got 5 pounds they should probably lose. Yeah. So I definitely think I can battle with those names, 100%.
Are you planning on coming around the same weight in Texas, or you plan on trimming another 3 to 4 to 5?
We're not going to pull a whole lot of weight, but we're going to come in sharper and drier. So I would say a couple pounds. All it takes is just a little bit more dryness on my midsection, and it looks even better. And that's what we did last year. So my Tampa look last year, there was just a slight film on my midsection, and I had that at prejudging at Tampa. Not bad. It was still a good peak, but my finals look when we restricted water a little bit was way better than prejudging. That's where I had straight first at Tampa for finals. So I know if I can bring that little extra edge of hardness for Texas Pro, which we did the same thing last year, and my look at Texas Pro being a couple pounds lighter was even better. It gives even more of an illusion of a tighter waist. My abs pop more. We just ride that line, but that's another reason why it's great for me to do back-to-back week peaks, so we can figure out the right peak and then be ready, even more ready for the Olympia. So I think you guys are going to see something even better this weekend.
And I'm going to give you an advice. At the Mr. Olympia, if you visualize top 10, you visualize that, you're honest to yourself, and you say, you know what? If I get a first call out, that would be the dream of my life, but I got to be realistic. This is my first Olympia. Odds are the Mr. Olympia, Samson is going to be there, and some of those guys, I might get called on the second call out or the third call out. And if you visualize the battle ahead of you, like, hey, I'm ready for the second and third call out. This is where I'm going to battle. I know the guys that I'm going to be posing next to it. I think you're going to be more effective. I've had a chance to talk to bodybuilders that are like, Tarek, I'm going to win this show. I'm going to win this show. And then they get a little deflated because they fall to the third call out. Right. And I'm like, listen, you should have been realistic with yourself. This is your first Olympia. And obviously we're speculating here, but if you visualize, hey, I'm going to be on that second and third call out and I'm going to fight my heart out. I'm going to make guys suffer when they're posing next to me. Even the guys that got the second call out, I'm going to squeeze them. I'm going to make the judges bring me back. And if you have that mentality, you're going to be a hell of a fighter on stage. We do notice that. We do notice the guys that never deflate. They fight to the end. They keep posing better and better and better. And eventually they squeeze in. You know, I've seen literally dozens of guys that were on the third call out. They posed their heart out. They got better. And they surpassed guys that were called before them. So, you know, have that vision and, you know, with your posing, because I think your posing was excellent. I think you should very well prevail.
Yeah, that's good advice because, you know, I've definitely always been realistic about my physique. I think there's a lot of delusion in bodybuilding, which is great because it helps you to push harder, right? Like for some people that have lofty goals, but when it's to an extent that they can't look at themselves objectively, it becomes a problem because then you do get deflated. And as soon as your name isn't called, the judges can see you just slash on the sidelines, and that's not what they want to see. So I want to battle with whatever call out I get, but I really do believe I'll be in that top 10, being able to stand next to those guys. And then another one of my strengths is as I pose, I get harder and harder and better, where a lot of guys start to fade. So I appreciate that advice. That's definitely my type of mindset. However, I do plan on bumping up every year and making the kind of progress that I made this year. And I want to be in that top 5.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That has to be the vision. I remember telling Rafael Brandão on his first Olympia, said, Rafael, if you're going to be realistic, you don't have the size to be on a first call out. Anything can happen, but odds are you're going to fall to the second and third call out. That's where you're going to be. You know, if you're realistic, if everything goes as planned. And he didn't lose his enthusiasm, you know. He kept posing and posing and posing. Eventually, he beat guys that were a lot bigger than him, like Mike Krizo and all those guys. So I think if you visualize, like Chris, tell me a little bit about your experience. I mean, at your first Olympia, you jumped pretty high, but did you ever get deflated, you know, because of certain call outs?
No, I didn't get deflated. I was being groomed to become a professional as an amateur. So I'm around all the professionals and legends. As we were in Venice, Bob was there. He knows that how it was. Like everybody was around, all in each other's ears and everything. So I know because back then we were doing sets of 3 for the first call out. It wasn't like a 6, 7, 8, or 9 type of call out. So I was never thinking, okay, I'm going to be up there. I'm going to call next side by side with Dorian and everything. So I knew I was going to have to fight my way. I took a top 6 in my first Olympia against some guys that were, you know, I was surprised. I was very happy to be in the top 6 at the time because it was nothing but, you know, straight champions that placed ahead of me, Sean Ray, and you got, you know, Dorian and Kevin, all these people that I looked up to the whole time. But back then, Tarek, we were taught to stay as close as like a statue, even in the back, even in the diagonals. And that's the way, you know, I was taught that, you know, judges going to look at you more if you are staying strongly at attention, stomach controlled. You know, I got that also watching Lee Labrada, people like this. That's where I wanted to be, even on the sideline. They're not judging me particularly, but they are looking to see. And I felt like that kept me tighter. And it keeps your body in control instead of just laxly, you know, stomach hanging. I'm talking to my guys and getting some water, taking a break and everything. I was never taking a break up there.
That's
I
why.
see Bob sometimes calling guys and say, man, straighten up, dude. You know, like we're looking at you, right, Bob?
Listen, we've said this a million times. While you may not be being scored, you are being judged. Okay, they're always looking. Again, any good trainer will tell you the same thing. I know Chris instructs every one of his clients because he's old school, and rightfully, the second you step on that stage, you're a rock. You just you don't let the belly hang. You don't put your hands on your knees and all that jazz. You go out there to compete and be prepared and be ready. Jordan, your entire future, all right, career, Olympia, play, whatever. Everything you have is going to rest on your waistline because you are as big as you need to be. Obviously, you can refine as you go. You're still a young man in the game. But where your waistline goes is exactly where your career is going to go. You keep that waistline small and work, as you've already said, on making it even smaller. And it brings your entire physique into play because every one of those names that Tarek mentioned, you could beat. You can beat those guys. You are right there with those guys. And I agree. Listen, you've been very realistic. Samson, Hadi, Derek, Nick, Beirut, should he be fortunate to get here this year, hopefully. Those guys are kind of up there along with Jack and Martin.
Right.
The rest of it is wide open, bro. There is no reason that you can't hang with those guys, be with those guys. But everything that you can do in your training and your preparedness, whether it's making meals smaller throughout the day, it's like you said, maybe bringing the protein down, whatever. You bring in 1 inch off your waist, your entire body takes on a whole different look. And that is going to be your key to success, my friend.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely working on that. We've already worked on that since in the last couple weeks. And, every time I walk around outside getting my steps, I'm constantly belly button to my spine, doing ab vacuums, McGill curls, practicing in the mirror, just keep my core tight. So it's something I didn't pay attention to years ago because it always just came easy. But, once you start to add that weight, then it becomes harder and you start eating 1,000 grams of carbs a day in the off season. It's like you got to start being conscious of it. So it's definitely in the forefront of my mind.
I like how you got your head to the side. Sorry, brother.
No, go ahead.
I like how you got your head turned to the side. A lot of guys just have their head straight. Turning your head to the side like this is going to incorporate and engage those trapezius going into the base of the skull. I used to do it. I was taught to do it that way, but I did that every time.
I like to do that on both of my back shots. I'm glad you noticed that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what impresses me about this pose is actually the size of the legs. Some people think we're just looking at hamstrings and striated glutes, but you can tell Jordan Hutchinson has very good legs from the back, right? You can see the quads coming out. There's a nice thickness to the legs. You could have a little bit more back width, right? A little bit more back width.
That's been a focus as well.
Which is something that Samson has been working on. His back has not been his strong point.
Yeah, and I mean that's something I've actually brought up a ton since last year is my arms and my back. So I've kind of figured out a formula for my back training, really focusing on the lower lats, working on not driving through my traps and rhomboids. That's been a lot of my progress in the last year has been training IQ. And, there's a point where you have to really shift and detail as a pro. You can't just do your typical barbell rows and dumbbell rows. It's just not going to work anymore. You got to really pick and select your exercises efficiently for what you need as a bodybuilder.
And keep doing that. Keep raising your IQ because to me, it sounds like you are a legitimate bodybuilder, someone that's thinking, way more than just, I'm going to eat this food. I got a show coming up. Like you think about the very, very small, different details that it take to be great. And I'm excited to hear that and excited to watch your career progress. I don't know how much ab training you're doing, but like, don't be afraid to train those abs because you're going to need that to make a little bit more pop.
Right.
To have all that chest meat you have going on,
right.
You're going to have that. That's going to increase and improve those most musculars.
Well, I appreciate that. I may even DM you, Chris, about maybe your suggestions on
Oh
abs.
yeah, for sure. I'll be here, brother. Let me know.
I always
I
appreciate
start
that.
following you already, so
I
there you
appreciate
go.
it, man. It means a lot to me. It really does.
You know, for the paying public here who's watching, we just talked about the Sterica just a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the difference between your 20s, 30s, and 40s. 20s is all about putting on size, and Jordan is a perfect testament to a guy who was taking the latter part of his 20s and just put on size, put on muscle, stayed off the stage to put that size on. The 30s is all about refinement. That's exactly where he is right now. Now he's got the size. Now you've got to refine the physique. Exercises that make differences in small little things, width to the back, depth to the abs, whatever your thing is that you need. 40s, obviously, you got a while before you get there. It's all about preservation.
Right.
So it's a whole different animal. But you are right where you should be, man. I mean, you're making the right moves. You're training smarter, not harder, and I think that's the big key. Because honestly, and the reason I bring this up is this is where a lot of guys blow it, even in their late 20s, early 30s, because they never get out of building mode. They never get out of that 20 stage of I got to put on more muscle, more mass. Like, no, you're going to put that on at the expense of shape, of proportion, of symmetry. Chris, you were just talking earlier, when we were training there at Gold's, you were a pro as an amateur. I mean, you had that pro look. You trained with all the pros. We were all there at this, with Flex and Dillette and, Tom Prince and everybody. I mean, everybody was there, but the emphasis then again was training hard, but it wasn't training stupid. And that's where guys got to get smart. Again, once you've got that mass, you have to try to refine it, or you're just going to be shapeless. And if the midsection's big, your whole body goes.
Right. And you've got to drop the ego in the gym too. Like there's the aspect of being injury free. I always say live to train another day. Like it is not worth it just for Instagram to have another video of you pressing something heavy,
I like what Bob said. Because you have to think that way. I mean, think about the whole picture. Don't just be like, today blah blah blah. But in your 20s, there is a certain look, and I know Bob touched on this with you, and I heard him say it before, but it's 100% correct. There's a look you have in your 20s. There's a look you're going to possess, and gravitate to in your 30s. And then there's going to be a look in your 40s. Your neck and everything right now is the biggest it's going to be. All this stuff is full. Right. There's a look when you're in your 30s, a little bit more mature, a little bit more density even so. But then your 40s, all this is going to come down a little bit. All this is going to change a little bit. Stomach's going to get a little fuller. And, after your 40s, your legs get a little smaller. This is for everybody. This is what it is. So you just got to pick and choose and work your way. And there's a certain weight that you're going to look good at. And there's going to be a certain weight that you're not going to look good at. I don't think you're going to be a 280 pounder up there. So I wouldn't even try. I would just like Bob said, I'd keep my abs in check. And that's going to tell you how far you can go with your physique.
100%.
There's so many examples out there. If guys would just take the time to look, history is there for a reason. Dorian, I think, is a quintessential example of a guy who was at the top of his game, winning the multi-time Mr. Olympia, but his mentality, and he said this in interviews, throughout the years now, he never changed his mentality. His last few Olympias, he was beat up. He tore his bicep because, here's a guy with not even arguably the best back in the world by leaps and bounds at that point, and he's doing reverse grip bent overs with 405 pounds, which consequently tears his bicep and starts the whole ball unraveling. But he could have been doing 135 and achieved the same exact thing at that stage in his career. So you have to be smart enough to listen. If you get that strong in any one exercise, pick a different exercise.
Exactly.
Start over, okay? Give yourself something fresh to work with. But nobody should be on a leg press in their 30s as a top pro bodybuilder. With 2,000 pounds on there, busting out reps. What are you going to do? You're going to put another 3-4 inches on your thighs? And even if you could, why would you want to do that at that point when it's just going to put your physique out of balance?
The IG, Bob,
doing a hack squat with 185 on there and really feeling the movement and the exercise. Maybe you need more sweep on your legs. Maybe you need more, whatever thickness to your triceps. You can, whatever your thing is for your physique. So, hate to coin that phrase again, but train smarter, not harder, guys.
They do it for the IG, the influencers. They like to tear their biceps on the IG so they can get.
That's great. Yeah, that's going to go a
Jordan,
lot farther.
Get some
Let me
likes.
tell you, a lot of those guys, who gives a shit if they tear anything? But you're a pro bodybuilder, man. Your whole business is staying healthy and keeping all your parts in check. And again, that's how Dorian, started to relinquish that tight rein. His last 3 Olympias arguably could have gone to other people.
Right. Yeah. It only takes one injury and this can all go away.
Yeah.
So I keep that in mind every time I'm in the gym, every time.
Jordan, we saw on social media, actually, I have 2 questions. First, we saw on social media you had a very emotional hug with your wife. It was very emotional, very touching. I had a chance to judge Samson Dauda when nobody knew who he was, and he took second in the UK. Nobody came to congratulate him. Everybody was congratulating Samson Dauda, Nathan Diasha, but Samson was in the corner by himself with his wife. And I always felt this was a special moment because I said, no matter what happens to this guy, whether he wins the Olympia or never makes it to the Olympia, he has his wife. And it looks like you have a very close bodybuilding bond with your wife, right? It's just not a marriage. It seems like she suffered just as much as you have in the diet, in the prep. Tell me a little bit about your relationship, your bodybuilding relationship with your wife.
Well, she's amazing, man. Her name's Brittany. And like I said before, I met her in 2020. She's always been into this. She hasn't competed yet. She started a prep. Prep didn't go as planned. It was a couple of years ago when we were in North Carolina still. So she may compete next year. So she lives the same lifestyle as me. We both eat 6 meals a day. We have a coach for her. She's shoulder pressing the 75-pound dumbbells last week for like 10 controlled reps. Like she's a workhorse, and I'm so proud of her. And she supports me through all of this. She always has. So she's been there with me through the wins and the losses. So, she was there when I won USA's. She's been there when I didn't get the placements I wanted these last few years. It's something special to have finally gotten a win in an Olympic qualification when we knew from the start that was my dream. And she's definitely gone through the good days and the bad days where I'm just dragging and I need her to pick up where I can't do as much here at the house, and where I got too much going on, too many obligations. But she's just absolutely incredible. She's an angel. And I couldn't ask for a better wife or a better partner.
Yeah, no, it was very nice. Now, I have another question. In today's age, and I love this about bodybuilding, until you win a show, you're not a big deal, okay?
Right.
So before Tampa, you were not a big deal, okay? Especially with the age of internet nowadays, you got to win a show to be a big deal. But you won Tampa, and now, Jordan, you're a big deal. I clicked on the internet and all we could see, you're the most famous bodybuilder in the world. For these couple days, everybody's talking about Jordan Hutchinson. You're doing Olympia News, Jordan Hutchinson, Olympia Live. Every YouTube channel is talking about you. You went from kind of an unknown bodybuilder, right? We knew who you were and this and that, but now mainstream bodybuilding know who you are. What changed within these couple days that you became this internet sensation? You are, within the last 72 hours, the most famous bodybuilder in the industry right now.
Well, I had to turn my phone on Do Not Disturb for sure that first day because I couldn't handle the notifications. But I've never been one of these people that has a social media that just blows up from views and likes. One of the things I mentioned before was I'm more impressive and imposing in person. So I don't have like this Nextzilla look where I'm going to post a picture and it absolutely blows up on the internet, So I've had to prove myself, and it is really nice to finally get the recognition that I feel like I do deserve from the work that I put forth, and it's finally come to fruition. Not that I'm looking for attention or looking for popularity, because at the end of the day, I do it for the love of bodybuilding. But it is nice to be recognized for all my hard work and my efforts. And that, of course, converts to opportunities and being able to grow my personal brand and my career. So it's obviously more than welcomed, and I'm very excited about it.
You always talk so mellow like that.
I do. That's just the way I am. My mom says I was born talking like this with a deep voice. I'm just mellow, man. This is the way I am.
That's what's up. Hey, also, I feel like now, I mean, what do you feel like? Are you gonna just shut it down after this Texas show, and then you feel like you can do a little bit more? Or are you gonna just shut it down?
I mean, the only shows would be Italy, Germany, France before the Olympia. So I really I'm focused on bringing my absolute best. If there was another US show, maybe, but honestly, the way I'm feeling, like how lean I've been for this long, because I was almost stage ready like 5 weeks out, maybe more, close to stage ready.
Probably could have done something earlier then.
I could have had, let's say Chicago Pro had open this year, I could have jumped in Chicago, which is what I did last year, was Chicago, Tampa, Texas. But I just, everything's focused. As soon as Texas is over, I'm going to take a few days with my wife, enjoy it, and then it's Olympia prep. So
you guys were together during COVID, yeah?
Yeah, we were not when COVID started, but yeah, I met her in July 2020. It's funny, we were working with a supplement company as like, entry-level ambassadors, got like $100 of free supplements a month kind of thing. And met her on a group message board on Instagram and hit her up, and it went from there. It was just been perfect ever since.
So Brittany, she loved you when you were broke.
She did.
And now that you're starting to make some prize money, you need to give her some of that money, Jordan.
Oh, I do. I'm taking care of her.
Okay.
She's going to spend it on all kinds of animals. We're going to have this house full of pets soon, I'm sure.
If you win Texas, before she comes to give you a hug, you hand the check to her, okay?
Yeah, she can keep that check. I'll keep the Tampa check.
How long have you been married?
We've been married since March of 2021. So we got married fast. We met in 2020, and
you're like, this is it.
We knew off the bat. So yeah,
this is it for me.
It's been 4 years.
Yeah, well, Chris doesn't know anything about marriage. He's undefeated. That doesn't mean he doesn't have lots of kids. He's got a lot of illegitimate kids all over the world, Jordan.
Hey, don't mind this guy. He's a little...
Jordan, he's a bad influence, okay?
I'm
letting you know, Jordan. Go train with him because he knows what he's doing.
Well, I was going to say, he can teach me a lot about training.
Yeah, but don't go party with him, Jordan. Trust me.
Well, just remember this, Jordan. Love is grand, and divorce is about 500 grand. So just stay out happy, and
it's not an option.
And keep her off the stage, bro. Just my own personal advice. Two people. Chris is going to back me up 100%. Two superstars in the family never ends well, man. So let her do your thing and support you and all that. And listen, when you get done, you can support her and anything, but you don't need two bodybuilders in the same house. Trust me.
Maybe definitely not prepping at the same time.
No, don't do it. Just say no.
Yeah, no, that could be an accident. Jordan,
did you take my chicken?
Jordan, give me your 3 top bodybuilders that inspired you the most. 3. The 3 guys that you had the magazines, you looked at them and you said, man, I would love to look just like these guys.
Dorian, Jay, and Ronnie.
I tried the
all the 90s guys were up there, bro. Like, I am a 90s bodybuilding fan, and I will say, I remember when I was training at my local gym back home where I'm from, and I would always get complimented by this guy that competed in the 90s. He's like, man, I haven't seen someone train like 90s bodybuilders until I've seen you, like a young kid that trains like a 90s bodybuilder. And so, of course, I was always watching Blood and Guts. Like, I love Dorian. Love Ronnie, love Jay, just like the 90s and early 2000s. Those were the days, man.
Jordan, you're a former Mr. USA's. We have a section here on Olympia Live, which is called Losing Followers, Creating Enemies. You're a Mr. USA's yourself. We have here Chris Cormier. He's the 1993 Mr. USA's. We have Bob Cicherillo,
overall winner.
2000. He's the 2000 Mr. USA's. We have Flex Wheeler, 1992. We have Brandon Curry, 2008. Phil Heath, 2005. We have lots of great Mr. USA's, including 2017, Derek Lunsford.
Lunsford, yeah.
Let's lose some followers. Who are your top 3 Mr. USA's?
Oh, man.
2 of them are right here.
Yeah.
Bob, Bob.
Yeah,
Bob.
you guys.
You don't got to look too far, Jordan.
No, that's it. I mean, it's right in front of him.
If he picks both of you guys, he's going to have to leave Phil Heath or Flex Wheeler out.
Well, I have to say Flex and Phil Heath. I have to say that. I mean,
Okay, so then there's just one more.
It's one of my all-time favorite physiques, man. Just incredible.
So you have to pick one more Mr. USA's.
I'll pick Chris. I'm sorry, Bob.
Oh, man, Bob.
No offense. Listen, I would
Thank
pick
you.
Chris. Yeah, so you gotta give it up for the boys on that one. But listen,
up.
everybody knows the bottom line is, listen, all USA champs are great, and they're always better than the national champions. So that we know for a fact.
I agree with you on that, Bob.
Jordan Hutchinson.
They don't give 2 pro cards per class either.
Yeah.
You're damn right.
That's right. That's right.
It's just overall winners here. Okay, there's no second place.
cream of the
nothing.
crop.
There's no, we'll give
Old
you 1,
school
2.
rules.
Or, yeah.
No, I
That's
mean,
right.
if you really look at the champions, obviously you have, Jay Cutler, most people don't know this, but when Jay turned pro, Will Stalin won the overall.
That's right.
So Jay did not win the overall, but Lee Haney, Sean Ray, and I'm going to tell you, I was so impressed when Cedric McMillan won. Remember, Bob?
Yeah,
When
sure do.
Cedric won, I was so impressed. But if you look at the champions of the USA's, they have to be more of it's a bigger selection. Flex Wheeler, Chris Cormier, Phil Heath, Derek, Bob, Brandon Curry. It's a lot of great guys.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm
Dennis
honored
Newman.
to be among that list.
Yeah,
Dennis James, right? Dennis James, Dennis Newman. Your best friend, Craig Titus, Chris.
Yeah. Oh, Craig.
Well,
What's up, Craig?
Greg's physique was killer. That's for sure.
Yeah, he
What's
was
up, Craig?
killer. Yeah. Jordan, I
You're
want to
a fool.
congratulate you.
You're a fool for that, Bob.
You're a movie star right now.
Thank you, man.
I was so happy to see your face all over social media. I think it's important. I think when you work very hard and you win a show like you did, I love that everybody was talking about you on social media. I think you're very marketable. I think if supplement companies, t-shirt companies, machines, equipment, if they're looking at somebody to represent their brand, I think you would be excellent. You got the look.
Thank you.
So I'm happy that you became this superstar, that you won the Tampa Pro. You deserve it. I want to congratulate your wife as well, because we know the effort behind it. And now that you have all these fans, and we have a lot of people on the live watching, what is your message to some of these new fans that are coming and saying, this guy reminds me of Branch Warren, I'm excited to see him at the Olympia? What is your message to them?
Well, I'm just grateful. I mean, I've definitely had a ton of support already, coming up the ranks from a lot of people, but definitely to have the overwhelming support of new fans, new followers and everything, it means a ton to me, because when I started this, it was just for the love of the gym, and it was just because I had a passion for building my own physique, and I never planned. People would ask me, "Oh, do you want to go pro?" years and years ago, and I was like, maybe I'd have the genetics to go pro by the time I'm 30 or something. Well, I made it to Olympia before I was 30. So it's something that's possible for anybody that's consistent, brutally consistent. I would say I have decent genetics, but I don't have insane Ronnie Coleman genetics, right? So I had to be a workhorse, and to see the fruits of those labors is really special to me. And whoever is following that and maybe is inspired by that, just know you don't have to be impressive when you start. You just got to work at it. It takes so many years of consistency. but you can make it. So I'm very happy to be able to inspire these new people that I'm a new face to them, but now I'm among the best in the world as an Olympian. So it means the absolute world.
Well,
Yes,
Jordan,
you're-
as I told you in Tampa, congratulations, welcome to the club and your first Olympia. And here's the thing with your first Olympia. This is the only pass you get in the world of professional bodybuilding, because you could do absolutely no wrong at your first Olympia. If you place in the top 10, everybody goes, holy crap, it was your first Olympia and you were top 10. I mean, it's a huge accomplishment, right?
Right.
If you place somewhere in the middle, people go, hey, that's not too bad for your first Olympia. I mean, shit, you beat half the other guys, and, you know, you can only get better from here. And if you took dead last, they go, hey, you still qualified for the Olympia, and you were up there with the best in the world. So this
100%.
is the only time you get that pass is on your first, because after that, you got to climb the ladder. But I got to sneak.
I'm not going to use that pass, though.
Yeah, that's okay. Listen, you're going to do great, and I still, my early prediction is that you're going to bump out somebody out of that 8, 9, or 10 spot right there. So
Thank you.
you can fight for it.
That's the goal.
You can be there, brother.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And it's going to be exciting, man. I tell you, every time I see first-time Olympians heading to check-ins, and you can just tell, man, it's a different moment in their lives when they sit in that room and, you know, all of a sudden, you know, here comes Samson. He sits right next to you, and you guys start chatting. And then here comes Hadi congratulating you. You really feel on that moment that you have made it to the pinnacle, that the top bodybuilders in the world know your name, shake your hands, congratulate you, and you get a number just like them. So it's going to be special. I'm super happy for you. I want to thank my co-hosts, Bob Cicarillo. He's the 2000 Mr. USA's. He's going to be announcing Jordan Hutchinson's name at the Mr. Olympia. He is the voice of bodybuilding. I want you guys to subscribe to the voice of VOB, the voice of bodybuilding podcast with Sean Ray on Bob's channel. It's one of the best podcasts in bodybuilding.
Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, I also want to thank Chris Cormier. He's my co-host on Primetime Muscle. That's the most respected bodybuilding show on TV right now. He's the 1993 Mr. USA's. He was selected by Jordan as the top 3 Mr. USA's. Bob has a little resentment towards Jordan right now, but we're going to ignore that. And I want to thank Jordan Hutchinson for spending some time with us. He's prepping, he's working out, he's dieting. So, Jordan, thank you so much for spending time with us. It's truly an honor to have you here.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. It's an honor to be on. I appreciate it.
My name is Tarek El-Gindi with the Mr. Olympia. The Tampa Pro winner, Jordan Hutchinson, is heading to Texas to earn more money and to head to the Olympia with more momentum. I will see you guys next time.
Ladies and gentlemen,